Creating a 1 pound competitive combat robot. This is the journey I took to create my first combat robot, hmoney. For this project, I decided to cover something that I've been working on for quite a while. This project will show the process I used to create a combat robot from initial research to design and manufacturing. Combat robotics started in the western United States. Many people know of it due to BattleBots and Robot Wars, but everyone knows this scene from Big Hero 6. Of course, modern combat robots aren't nearly as technologically as advanced, but I make do with the technology I have. I decided to focus my bot around defense rather than offense. Horizontal spinners are a common configuration, especially in the American circuit, but they have one fatal flaw. If they hit a wedge, they tend to lose control, giving you a little bit of time to mess with them and counterattack. Knowing that there's a bunch of horizontal spinners in America due to the legendary tombstone, which you can see being tossed around in this video, I figured this was an idea worth pursuing. Most of my brainstorming sessions happen entirely way too late at night. Here's one of the photos of one of my original brainstorming sessions. I decided that I wanted my bot to be able to drive upside down the same way it would right side up, which led me with a problem with the wedges. So I had to figure out a way to make the wedges hinge to the main body, that way they work no matter the orientation of the bot. So I did a real quick 3D print to find out that it would indeed work. For the electronics, I went really cheap. Instead of using a typical RC transmitter, I used a microcontroller. After messing around with Arduinos, I decided a Raspberry Pi W would be a lot better, and I have a cheap Bluetooth controller I use with it. As for the components, I used a lot of drone parts and a lot of cheap Chinese electronics from AliExpress. These are some of the original concept sketches. Yes, a lot of them are very messy. For the computer modeling section, I decided to use Fusion 360, which I did not know going into this project, and I'm very glad I learned it, because it's very intuitive for projects like this, and very easy to export for 3D printing. To prep the models for 3D printing, I used Cura, and I learned a lot about how to optimize G-code to make your prints come out exactly how you want. I had problems with them being too heavy, so I learned to make the infill a lot less dense, and the walls a little less thick. For the manufacturing, I just used my 3D printer. I used entirely way too many spools of filament for this. So, yeah, Micro Center was my best friend. And for the weapon, I had a friend machine it out of aluminum. I spent entirely way too long in the prototyping phase. Every single design I made had at least 5 iterations before I added it to the main bot. But, yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. For the painting and livery design, I really liked the weapon, kind of how it looks like a bow tie, so I dubbed it the bow tie of death. I took that idea and ran with it and proceeded to make the entire bot look kind of like a suit. I used a simple straight cut design with flat colors reminiscent of the corporate art style or Allegria that you may have heard it as, to make it simple yet still visually appealing. One of the most important features is the weapon. I really wanted to show that off and kind of make it the logo of the bot, hence the bright red. And here's the final product, fully painted and ready to compete. I'm very happy with how it turned out. It varies wildly from the original concept sketches. I even changed the name when I was changing everything, but I am still very happy with how it turned out. And this bot is scary when it's running at full power. But I am very happy, and I cannot wait to compete in my first event in Houston on May 1st.